Welcome to my stream. I'm gonna do a puzzle streak from yesterday, and as you see it's 92 right now, and it will begin in a minute or two. Be patient. If you're watching this on Twitch, please get on YouTube. If you can. If you cannot, then stay on Twitch. Alright, let's start this. So I was left here yesterday, so if I take on f6, what happens? h7 hangs, so I'm not sure. Oh, wait, I have to check something. I cannot see a chat right now, so pardon me for that. I'm streaming both on Twitch and YouTube, so it's a little tougher. A little tougher to follow. Today I'm going to do puzzles only, and also later comment on Olympiad, so that's how it's gonna be. Okay, so let's see, do I take? I think I take. I take on f6, rook h5, and I don't really see how. How can I win this? Maybe h3 and some rook g5 with king g7, maybe. But I guess I gotta take. If I go here, he goes h5, king h4. it doesn't seem too convincing to me, so... Okay... Maybe check and then h3. Because if h3 then king f8, and he's always gonna have some rook h6 stuff. So I'd rather go rook g8 first, and when the king goes away, then h3. And then I can go king g7 and start, or rook g5, king g7. So this one, please be it. Yes. This one looks good. Rook a8 and black has to deal with this knight which hangs right now. But right now you cannot take it because rook hangs on a1. So I can do this, and if black takes, we have a back rank mate. So now black is in trouble because knight hangs. I want to take on f8 and give a checkmate on e8, so how does he stop both of these things? And the answer is he doesn't, I suppose. Hey Krishna. Aha, maybe he has... No, he doesn't have rook d1. Rook d1 is just met with rook f8, king f8, and then you give a checkmate. Or you can take on d1. So I suppose I got it right. If queen d6 I can take, and if queen takes, rook e8. Yeah, I'm doing only puzzles for about maybe 3 hours, and then I'm gonna do some commentary. Not commentary, but watching Olympiad on stream. I mean, you can say it's commentary, but not like professional or anything like that. Take and queen b4. Sure. What is this? I'm a piece up. So what do I do? Queen f5 or... What's the point? Bishop d4. In that case, I could go... Aha, there's no rook d2 in that case. Because maybe I can give a check and go bishop e5. Oof, but this is... You gotta have nerves of steel. Bishop d4, rook d2, do this, king h2, bishop e5, g3, and maybe you can get away with queen e5 and then defend against back rank checkmates or... So bishop d4, Seems like that. Bishop d4, check, bishop e5, and queen e7. But alright, let's do it. Let's pull the trigger. So if you go e6, rook f1, king here, and maybe that's the problem. Bishop e5, g3. Well, that is a problem, maybe. Takes e6. Or maybe it's not. Maybe queen g7 and you still defend the bishop. Why would this be a problem? Check. Check. Hooray. I hate these positions. So bishop h7 comes to mind first. Bishop h7, king h7, queen h5, king g8, and now g6, or maybe simply rook f3, rook h3, rook lift can do the job. Doesn't seem so crazy. I had this one before. This one seems familiar. And I think I failed this one, so I gotta be careful. No, let's not be careful, let's just play this. So why not rook f3? Because of g6 maybe? And that's why we give a check first. And now on g6 he can take and go rook f5, which I don't find particularly dangerous. So I suppose it's rook f3 and rook h3. Just like that. This one might be simply queen takes and rook g7 with rook taking on c3, on c2, and he will find himself in a tough spot because with two rooks and a knight being around the king and not having proper defense, it's gonna be tough. So we do take. And rook g7. It simply feels right. Give a check. Go here, and now rook knight g3 maybe. King f2 and something like rook c2, but This. Knight g3, king f2, rook c2, rook d2, and what's the killer? What's the killer blow? Okay. Rook g7, king f1, knight g3, king f2, and I'm missing something. Maybe I thought about rook e8, but rook e1, not too many arrows. So here rook e8 and rook e2, but rook e1 here. I don't think it works. Check. There. Rook c2, rook d2. But I think I have to begin with rook g7. I don't know what to do else. Other than that, now knight g3 looks very natural. But maybe I can go knight g5, bishop f4, and knight takes here, but I don't know. Taking on c2 looks pretty dangerous, because I can just give a check on d7, take on g7, and then take my knight. I don't see it as it would work. But this one, I cannot make it work either. Unless you're supposed to take on h3 at some point and win that endgame, but it looks a little bit optimistic. So knight g3, king f2, rook c2, rook d2. Oh, maybe just rook gc7 and white is forced to take rook c2, and that endgame looks much better because bishop will not be able to take this pawn, because I will switch to h2 and maybe eventually pick up on h3. So yeah, that might be the one. Might be the answer. This one, and we told that one. Rook gc7. I think I never told this. Rook gc7. Yeah, this is a strange way to finish the puzzle. Yeah, it took me a while to see this move, like, it's very bad. So let's see what the engine says. King e1, rook e2 first, and then rook h2. Ah, rook f2. Oh yeah, you take on f3. It's closer to promotion, and you cannot take because of a skewer. Okay. And we have this one now. Well, I would say it's this. If king steps on the c-file, you take on c6, exchange queens, and then support the pawn by king h3 and start pushing this one. Pushing the g-pawn. But what happens if g2 is played? If king e2, g2? Now we have to check for checks. Queen to c4, king g5, rook g2. Will that be enough? I guess I gotta go first with this one. To not allow king e2. So on rook e2, there's gonna be g2. And now this is quite tricky because rook is pinned, cannot take on g2. You have only one check like king c4 or queen c4, but I can escape to g5, for example. And you gotta defend by queen d4, but in that case I can give a check and from he can cover, can't he? But I think I'm onto something. Check, rook e2, g2. Oh, but there is queen h6. Missed that completely. That's a bad one. Change of plans. Sorry. This. Maybe one more check and he has to go back to d1. Queen f1, king c... no. Queen h1. Wait, but what am I talking about? Queen, if you do this, queen takes c1. Jesus Christ, what's happening to me? Yeah, that's not good. I calculate king can go to e2, like, okay. That is crazy. So, what do we do here? c6 looks very natural. c6 and on bishop c7 just b6, and if you take here, take bishop c7, bishop h4, and I believe this is enough to win. I believe. And also on this, bishop a5. Oh yeah, you take on a5, what am I talking? It doesn't work. So c6 takes here, bishop c7. Yeah, maybe I could begin with a6, bishop b8, and then take on h4. In about 3 or 4 hours I'm going to do commentary on Olympiad. I'm gonna watch this and share my thoughts with you. So if you would be interested, please join me and follow with me. So c6, right? c6, and now ba6, because a7 can be stopped. Oh, this is the tricky one. Wait, if I go here, bishop h4, I could simply push. And let him take my bishop, and in the meanwhile I promote. What is this? Takes, queen h5 here takes, king g7 and g6 looks pretty good. Double bishop sacrifice. Maybe I should make a separate channel for simuls only. I made a separate channel for shorts, but I think it will have to be, you know, fractured into even more of these channels. Bishop g7. g6 looks decent, but you take and bishop f6, I don't believe it's that good. Although, really, it could work out. Or maybe bishop g7, king g7, queen h6, and on king g8, g6. That might be even better. But yeah, I think I gotta begin with bishop g7. Aha, and probably win both wins. Both of these win. What is this? d6? Yeah, I stopped posting shorts on this main channel and I just made a new channel, but we'll see how that one goes. Hey Steven, hello. I'm streaming both on Twitch and YouTube, and if you look at me tilting my head like this is me watching Twitch chat, and this is me watching YouTube chat, and this is me solving. So sorry if I look a bit distracted, but it's tough to follow everything. d6. Yeah, if he goes h6, the king is already here to keep an eye on the pawn, and this knight can pretty successfully catch both pawns with knight c4. So we gotta start with d6. make sure that king gets a little bit on the wrong foot. So d6, knight c4 now, d7, king e7, and now the h-pawn runs. Oh, but wait a second. Maybe I begin with a5. Because this way he catches me, right? I feel like he catches me. Because he gets his knight to f7 and his king is on the route to catching this one. So I think we gotta begin with a5 so that knight cannot really handle both of these pawns. I'm gonna push my pawn until a7. What do you think, Steven? a5, let's say knight c4, a6. Yeah, now he's a bit torn between defending from both of these. Yeah, or if I need it, I can get my king closer and catch the pawn. Because when d6 happens, knight c4, d7, king e7, h6, here, h7, knight f7, he catches my h-pawn, he's gonna take on d and catch my a-pawn, so let's push. Okay, now I have to push. And now king g1, I think, right? Or no, a7. a7, because I'm still pretty close. Pretty close. a7, c4, h6, c3, h7, king g7, promote, take, d6. Oh, I'm a bit slow here. Wait a second. Ah, yeah, if he goes knight c8, I go d6 anyway, so king g1. King g1. Because he cannot keep both of these pawns from c8. Because then I push d6 and on knight d6, a7, and knight cannot catch this pawn. People, what do you say? Do I just get with my king? King g1. King f1. Yeah, there is still no rush to get closer. So, what is this? Maybe... Can I afford this? No. Check and queen f5. If queen f1, I guess g4 is the move. The only one that makes sense. And then, how do I catch this king? Damn it. Or do I go rook c1? rook c1, and I'm gonna pick up f2 because queen cannot keep control over the second rank. Queen f1, g4 to make room for the king, and then rook c1. So yeah, after this happens, when the queen moves, queen takes f2 and checkmate. It looks good, but is there any check that white can give? Like rook e8 doesn't feel too threatening. What else? Let's say g4, and on rook c1, is there some Zwischenzug? I don't think so. I think this is enough. You can't go to c5, you can't go to e2, d2. You have to surrender this pawn. If you go knight d2, I can take on f2. So let's go. g4, rook c1. Oh, and he does this, okay. Take, oh boy. Here we go. Pawn endings. Impossible. So, here we go with king d6. He has to stop king d7 by king e8. e7. Oh no, that's bad. h5, and I'm screwed here. So what happens if I go g4 to begin with? Then g6 and h5, that looks pretty bad. What if I go here, here, and then g4? That seems pretty good. So here, king e7, g4 on king d6, king g6 takes here, and I'm gonna pick up h6. So what else can you do? If you go g5, well, I might just play g4 and no, just go king g6, and after this takes, looks good enough. King and pawn endings. The biggest nightmare of puzzle solvers. If you go g5, I could also go king f6 and then g4, because if you wait, I can go g4 and, well, maybe it's not the best, but I don't think it matters. I think what matters here is to, on king e7, to play g4. And on g5 to go king e5, not king g6. Because on king g6 he takes on e6, I take king f6, and that's a draw. King h5, king f7, king g5, king g7, and we have opposition. So let's go here. I don't think it's this one. This is not the best. Because in that case, h5 and g5 will happen, and I want to stop that. So h5, yeah. h5 here takes, I mean, take on g7, take on e6. Here, what? h4 takes king e7, king g7, and then you start pushing. And if you keep the g-pawn as it is, then it's an easy win, because king is already here in this zone. So king g6. Wow. Wow. But why doesn't a move such as e7 work? Ah, because now, yeah, if you if I by some chance play e7 take, I don't go to e6, I go to e8 as black. And if king g6, h4, gh, king f8, and black got to the promised land. So we take this immediately. We don't mess around. Oh wait, this one. What am I supposed to calculate here? Take rook c8, bishop f8, and then what? Queen f6 maybe? Queen f6. Mr. Schoner, hello. Rook g5, rook c8, bishop f8, queen f6. I'm hoping to see some checkmate on h1, but that's not gonna be so easily done. No, sir. What can I do here? Rook g5, rook c8, rook bishop f8, queen f6. And well, and rook f5 is a problem because you mean immediately, or after you take a bishop? So let's say if you meant this, rook c8, bishop f8, you meant queen f6, rook f5. Queen e7 is what I'm worried about. How to not get frustrated? About what? About chess? g5, rook c8, bishop f8, queen f6, and now what am I missing here? This rook c8, bishop f8 for the billionth time. I was looking first at something like b5, but in the worst case he can take on f8, king f8, queen g5, and I don't think I get much from this. So how do you stop queen e7? Oh, that's how. Rook d5. Rook g5. Ah. Rook g5. The line with queen a3 in the end, but b5 hangs also because queen is on g5, right? Yeah. Sorry, Prasanna, I'm not playing games today. I'm just gonna do some tactics and watch Olympiad in about 3 hours. Aha, b6 instead. Yeah, but then you also have something like queen d8. You don't have to, you know. But let me go back to what I saw. So rook g5, rook c8, until I forget. Bishop f8, queen f6, rook d5, and the only way to get to the bishop is to go queen e7. But then I can give a check, king g2, and now queen c6. Hitting the rook, unpinning the bishop because rook has to capture, rook hangs on c8, and then you take a queen. And that's how you win the game, I think. That's how you solve the puzzle. What do you think about that? Does it have any holes? So rook g5, rook c8, bishop f8, queen f6. Because other moves will give black time to consolidate. I was looking for something that attacks the rook, and maybe there's queen f4 as well. But then I can go rook d5 and queen d6 as well. Oh yeah, queen d6 will do the job after queen b8. So but not after queen e7 because rook takes on f8 in that case. So I have to go with this trick with deflection of the rook and so on. So let's see what yeah, queen f6, and now rook d5 is crucial because you gotta give this check so you can lure the king into g2 to have a check on c6. So rook d5, and now check, go here and take a queen. Okay, 104. Rook down. Not so... Not so easy. Rook down position. Very sad. Let's go straightforward. Like, what's happening after this? This... Queen f8, king g6. Maybe we just take on d6 and take the knight. Rook h8 directly. Where? Queen... You mean queen d8 or... Oh yeah, you can exchange queens afterwards because rook is so stuck on h7, yeah. Yeah, but first I have to begin with a check. Like, there's no doubt about that. So I'd like to capture this pawn with check, so I have to go here for that. King g6 and queen d6. And once I take... Yeah, after he comes back, queen f6, and then he cannot go back to g8 because of checkmate on f8. He has to go here, but I take... Oops, I take on e5. And I think I'm gonna force the queen trade, after which rook on h7 is useless. I have isolation. Just flaster on the rook. Knight e3, rook e3. Doesn't work. The rook e3. What about knight e5? Because black might want to go rook e2 on the next move, so it could be a good idea to get knight e5, and only then... even then it's impossible to do that. No, but it's possible. It is possible. But right now it's not. Knight e3, you take it, and on queen e3, knight g4. Knight e5, on the other hand... Oh, but he can take that. Take twice. Oops. But now the knight is pinned. Huh. I see some stuff, yeah. I would say knight e5. Because if you take and go knight e4, to me this looks very dangerous. After knight e3, knight f5. I don't see a clear way for black to stop knight f5 and queen h6. Black's king is so weak right now. And I don't want to give him time to, let's say, give a check and king h7 with rook g8. That looks a bit reckless. But this one doesn't allow him some king h7 because I take and queen f7. Pick up the knight. Pick up the rook. Why would you pick up the knight? So that one looks promising. Knight e5 with knight e3 to follow, knight f5. Seems very dangerous. If knight e5, rook e6, knight e3. With knight f5, you don't exchange on e5. Just go here, and when you take on... Oh, you cannot take on h6 then, but you can go queen g3 and enter on g7. You make chaos here. So let's do it. Very interesting. King f4, you gotta go king f6. And now be careful. How do you push? If you push b4, he goes b5, and black has... White doesn't have a pawn move, so we need a pawn move. We want black to be forced to move his king in this position. So on king f4, king f6, we have to somehow trick black into moving last. And if we go with b3, then b5. And if b4, black has this final tempo a6, and we have to move the king, which is not good for us. So king f4, king f6, and now a4. And now black has two options. If a6, then b4. And whatever he does, we don't exchange pawns. We have the last say. If b5, a5, and now black has to move his king, which is suiting us, our position. If king e6, king g5, and if king g6, king e5. And black is putting Zugzwang this way. So a4, if a5, then b3, and again, black is forced to move his king. And we have a similar scenario. King e6, king g5, or king g6, king e5. So first move the king up. Wouldn't it be funny if this was wrong? Wouldn't it be nice? So yeah, just practicing reading books on some theoretical endgames will help a lot, and the fear goes away. And also failing many puzzles in this team helps the fear go away. So I gotta go b4, because if I go a5, c5 is quite strong. And then black wins. So we go b4. If king e4, then b5. Oh no, sorry, not b5, a5 now. And if king to d4, then b5, takes a6. And I'm one move fast, one move too fast. Before this, because if I go b5, he goes a5 and catches my pawns. And maybe wins, who knows. But that's why I go a5 first. And on this, b5, if he goes king c5, ba6, king c6, I'm gonna just go c5, and black is put in Zugzwang. Because if he moves the king in any direction, I go a7. So he has to stay on c6, but he doesn't have moves. He can push his pawn, but he can go just as far, like king h2, and now black has to move. Chess with Shiva, hello. I'm doing well. How about you? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in real life you can drag your finger over the board like to clean something and pretend you're cleaning something. Oh boy. Why not now this one? I think now this... Now b5 would work? Wait a second. Takes... Oh no, it doesn't work. Why? Yeah, there's a way to connect with me. We can do some collab. Yeah, let's play what I said. b5 and push. Oh no, not this. Not like this. Yeah, that's okay. We can arrange something. I was thinking about something like bishop a5, but what happens if this check appears? King h3? Maybe it works. Damn it. Maybe it works. Oh, but wait. He doesn't really threaten to capture my bishop. I can take this, and on this, king h3. Oh, but he does. This one, oh, rook d5. Plot twist. Check, defend this pawn. And then take a bishop. Plot twist. Seems good, but it's 108. I always double check, triple check, zero check. What I see as a potential danger is maybe him defending with g5 and h5, putting my king in danger. But let's just go with this one. Plot twist. Yes. Queen g3 here, rook g8. And rook here. Nah. I don't think it's checks. I don't think checks get you anywhere far. I think we gotta go here, here, and rook g8. But rook d2 is a bit puzzling. Slightly puzzling. Check on h3. This one feels... Ah, I give a check on h4. Wow, this was... this is mate in 3 and I was struggling to see it. Because I want to keep an eye on f2 and then rook g8. Yeah. G3 looks natural. Rook has to move to release the king. And then we go with something... Ah, we go with rook h8, I guess. Rook h8, king has to go to f1, we give a check, king e2, queen g2. But then maybe it turns out that it could be better that rook goes to e1. Wait a second. Rook e1. Rook h8, king f1, queen h1, here. Oops. King d1. And now what do you do? Maybe you can go with rook h1 in the end. Because you have a g-pawn, you are rook down, but the g-pawn will be quite a powerhouse. Let's go. So, the difference between this immediate check and check is that I lost one tempo on this one, on this check. which I could use to bring my rook to h8. And white anyways has to go to f1, so I saved one move for that. By rook h8, king f1, queen h1, king e2, but now it's much easier to attack because I have one extra piece in the attack. And after king d1, I think it's supposed to be rook h1. Rook h1, and then I want to take on e1 and go queen f2, g2. Which does look quite nice. But also there's this idea of queen h2 and knight h4, which I didn't consider. Oh boy. But I don't know, this feels a bit slow. Queen h2, king f1, knight h4. King escapes, or... yeah, he escapes. Knight g2, king d1. Then you take, and go queen h1. Queen f1, g2. Damn, this might be good. This might be good. Probably this rook h1 doesn't... yeah, but I believe somehow this is inferior. Rook h1, maybe simply queen e2, or... it feels a bit sussy. Or queen d2, maybe, to hit also g5. Echo Pulse, hello. This, king e2, knight g2, queen d2, knight e1, oh. Tough to assess. Knight e6, but then fe, and my king is still not in any danger. Sorry for the lag, but that's what happens when I stream both on Twitch and YouTube. I think the lag is about 15 seconds maybe. Now I'm more open to this line. And if he escapes, knight g2, queen d2, But I cannot take on d1, king takes, and I don't have perpetual here. Although you can play g2 and on queen g5 just escape to h7. Interesting. Interesting thing. But wait, what's happening? What's happening if you go here, knight h4, queen d2? Do you have knight f3? Knight f3, queen e3. That doesn't seem to work. So this, knight h4, queen d2, maybe give a check, but oh, but wait, knight f3 is not a check. Damn it! I was so excited about this. But let's go back to this line. This one I abandoned maybe too soon. Rook h1, queen d2. Oh, but then you take and queen d4. Come on, this is gonna be winning definitely. Once the knight hangs on c5, I don't have to promote just yet. I have d pawn pushing. That looks very good. So rook h8, my final answer. Are you sure? Huh. Let's see. So on king d1, rook h2 also works. Oh, rook h2 with the idea of knight d4. And this reminds me of a puzzle which I did a week ago maybe, when there was the end of the puzzle where black had two rooks versus queen and rook, and a stronger side was paralyzed. This is something similar. White is a rook up, but his rooks are disconnected, his king is in a tough spot, and he cannot do anything. So after this, also rook h1 works. It's even better by the engine. So I saw this on king e1, queen g1. Aha, this check doesn't matter. It will be a bit scary to allow this, but yeah, there's only one check and black's fine. If queen e1, then knight takes d4 with this threat. So let's say this, queen c2, here queen h2. Wow, and then you push g pawn. And what did you say? Rook b, queen b2. Queen b2. I think rook b1 saves it a little bit, but still it's very good for black to stay on a2 and maybe push later, or rook h2 with the same knight d4 idea. It says -2, so it doesn't really refute anything, or... But these two moves are slightly better. Rook h2 or rook h1. Rook h1 is -5. And rook h2 is -3. Pawn endgames. Oh god. Well, I gotta catch this. But wait a second. Wait a second. King f4 might be the move. Because on king f6 I could have g5 takes king e4. Nah, g4 takes... No, this is not it. But if I go here, king f6 takes king g5. King e5, king g4, this takes king b7. Well, I guess I first have to take the pawn as quickly as possible. I don't have time for this. King f6, and it's just a loss of time. So king e4, I don't believe it's king f4. King f4 is way too slow. And now again, what do you do? Like, if you don't take on d4. What do you do? And now, what do you do if you don't go after this pawn? What do you do? And now we have to think. Maybe it's king a6. King a6, h4, b5. No, maybe you do take. h4, king b6, h3. Wait, king c6, h4, king b6, h3, c7, h2. No, I think he promotes first. Promotion, and there's no check on g1 because of queen to c5. That might help. So takes here, here, there, c6, h2, c7, h1 here. And I'm gonna go queen to c5, push my pawn to a5. And win that, I suppose. I don't think it's this one, because now on b5, this takes here, c7, queens, c8. Maybe it does work, damn it. Maybe that line was a bit cursed. Rostam Chess, hello. Sorry for not answering immediately. You think it's king c6, king b6. If I take on a6, h4, b5, maybe black can take on b5 in that line, and black promotes second, but doesn't exchange queens. And that's what makes this maybe difficult. So let's say this, h4, b5, I just discarded this one, but I could take. I could take c6, h3, c7, this. You will take on b5, but it's an a pawn, and it's much more difficult to have any winning chances. Plus there's a check on a2 and this one hangs. So you have to give a check, let's say on g8 maybe, but even if you take this pawn, it's hard to hide, as Stefan mentioned. So we take on c6, right? And king b6. Let's go. What do you do here, black? What do you do? If I go immediately king d3, king e6, c5, d5. And I don't like this. So c5 immediately. And if king e6, c6. And then creeping. Creep. So c5, if you go king e7, then I could go king d3. We have to triangulate or something. No, I think we simply charge after the a5 pawn and then it's easier. Because if we don't have access to b5, then we cannot really triangulate there, right? We will need access to d4, but we don't have that. So c5. Because king d3, king d6, and c5, d5. And now we might be in trouble, because he's gonna play d4 and the king is in the square. So let's just go here. And now c6 is quite important. Hello, Arnubrata. c6. And now get in. Go. 113. Bishop e5 maybe? Bishop e5, queen f2. King h1. Is my stream dead? Wait. No, it's not. If I went here, Queen c7 would be nice. Aha, maybe I can take on e7 and then when he takes to go bishop e5, because now his knight is pinned, so there's no trick like queen f2. That is a bit excessive. Takes, bishop e5, rook f8, and then something. Something clever. Bishop h5 with queen g7. Because you want to keep an eye on f7 square as well. If you move the bishop on some random square here, then rook f7 is a good defense against all of that. But if you move it to h5, then bishop supports the attack and makes it unbearable. So on this, rook g6 maybe, but then we take on king e7, queen g7, and it doesn't seem like black will survive this. So rook e7, what did I miss? What kind of defense is there for black, if there's any? So rook e7, king e7, bishop e5, rook f8, bishop h5. With queen g7 next. Okay, so maybe, oh yeah, I missed one thing here. Bishop e5, rook to g6, queen g6, knight goes somewhere, but let's say knight e8. Knight e8 and queen h7. Yeah, it feels like it's gonna be enough. Let's do it. Shall we? Bishop e5, rook g6, queen g6. But let's do it. Let's do the dirty work. Looking at the engine. So 98. Please spill your guts. Oh, bishop f4. Yeah, just a backward move and it's awkward. Queen f7 with bishop f6. Backward moves, man, the toughest spot, especially from a distance. But I did find this one backward. So half a point for me. Rook e7, 94, rook e8. Aha, you... Wait a second, you're... Rook e7... $94? Yeah, but this is checkmate. You get puzzle rating for strict puzzles? No, I don't get any. But sometimes I lose when I make a mistake, when I try to get to a position from a puzzle. One time I lost 20 points for mistakenly making some stupid move, even though it was a streak. But what can you do? Oh, this one. Oh no. Bishop e6, 96, rook a8, king b7, king e6. Yeah, I think so. I think I'm strong in tactics, even though my play doesn't involve such sharp positions. Daka, how you doing? Maybe it's rook a5, by the way. Rook a5 and then take on e6. If knight e4, then you can take on e6 with the king. And this seems quite good. f5 will drop. Maybe there was rook d4 in the end of that line, bishop e6 and take on e6 with the king. No. I was never avoiding you. Come on. Rook a5. Rook a5 and then we attack the knight. We still attack e6. That looks good. What's your rating, Rostam Chess? Well, it's not, because if I go bishop e6, 96. It's the same. Wait a second. No, you have rook d4 in the end. You have to move the rook and then f4 hangs. Because let's say bishop e6, 96 check, king b7, king e6, rook d4. And then, yeah, then you attack f4 and I think that could be a draw. So why wouldn't you go rook a5 immediately and bishop e6? Let's go. Bishop e6 and whoa. Oh no, again some endgame like this. Why? Why always this to me? Maybe it's a5 and stop the b pawn from running. a5, b4 takes a5, b3, a6, b2. And how exactly am I stopping this one? How exactly? Hey Kawaii. Hello, hello. How are you doing? Oh, that's solid. Bishop d3, rook a2. Oh yeah, bishop d3. Thank you. Bishop d3, rook a2 and bishop e2. King f4 and f2. Oh, I'm doing great now. My favorite fiend. Body fiend, you mean? But the problem is if bishop d3, he might have king d4. But that's alright. Bishop here, king e3, and then d4 with e5, e4. But what is there? Like, is there any other fiend? Bicycle fiend. If king d4, you take on c4 first. No, I think I need these two pawns. I cannot do anything if I have only these two. I need 3 pawns in the pawn chain. So I could go bishop e2, luring the king to e3, and then go d4. Now the king has to go to f2 or d2, and then e5, e4. But I don't know. Yeah, also Kawaii asked the same question. Bishop d3 here and dc, but after bc, bishop e2, king e3, it seems like white is holding my pawns. And if I take on c4, f3 is lost, and I don't see a way. But bishop d3 seems like the only first move that is good enough. And now bishop e2. Pray. So let's go deeper. So bishop e2, king e3, d4, king f2, e5, and then just e4, e3. Just get through it. Boy, oh boy. I gotta take the knight. I mean, what else? What else am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? This? And now g6. Oh no. Then maybe I could go knight e5, defend this pawn, catch this g pawn with the king. But will I be able to catch these two pawns or promote? So 95, G7 here, B4. Why not 92? Daka, see you. .92 is a bit clumsy, I would say. I would like to push my D pawn, but like let's say knight to D2, A4. Hmm. 95, G7, King F7, A4. Wow, this is... Why not knight B2? Knight B2 takes. And now you can't really go back to... You cannot push the pawn because King E3 and then you push this one and it's too far. So... 95 looks good and it seems like I can give a checkmate somehow. Now he has to push because if I manage to take and get King D5, that's okay for black. He's gonna catch, he's gonna hold the king to not be able to attack, and that's gonna be good enough. But 95 G7 is a problem, maybe. King F7, A4, King takes, A5. And now D3 maybe, or what could be the move? Wait, King F6, A6, King F5, A7. Oh, this is too fast. Wait, 95 G7 here, A4. No, but it's not like I'm that close to promoting. No, you know what I have to do? I have to get my knight to C6, but only when the king is on F6. Oh, I just have to do something on Twitch, sorry. Because my auto mode is holding a message for some reason, like bullying or whatever. Wait a second. Allow. So yeah, I think it's 95, G7, King F7, A4, takes, A5, King F6, A6, Knight C6. And if B4, Knight A7. And when you take King E5, and I think this should be winning. I mean, it's like King and Pawn ending, but White always has this B5 which is bothering him. And I can always lose a tempo with Knight B5 and back. But I can only start moving the knight once my king is on F6. Because if he manages King F3, King E4, that's gonna be bad for my pawn. And I think that's okay. Oh, immediately. Doesn't care about questioning my technique. So I was speaking about this one. Now you wait a little bit more. If he tries with b4 instantly, knight c6, and if he moves this one, I take. And if a6, knight to a7. And now you're blocking both pawns. If this happens, you can always count on taking tempi for with knight b5, and white has to give up a pawn now, because if he goes here, I could do plenty of things. Knight c3 or even d2. Anuk, hello. Very devoted viewer. In the next one, just bishop h. Let's see. Bishop b4, queen b4. No, I think it's queen d4. But let's see. Let me see. So bishop b4, queen b4, knight b4, bishop d7. I think I'm losing too many pawns to take an exchange. So I think it's this one. And what does white do here? What does white do? Castle maybe? But then takes knight to d4, hitting f3. Yeah, but that's the exchange, right? And you take on e6, you have two passed pawns. I don't really dig it. So maybe it's this one. Castle, queen d2, bishop d2, knight d4, hitting the bishop and also hitting at f3. Fork. If you decide to go, well, how do you save? Maybe rook to d1, but then I can go bishop b4. Then I can take a queen like this. So queen d4, what do you do here? Rook is attacked, I want to go bishop b4. Not simple. Not so simple. Queen d4. If you castle queenside, well, then I could maybe take on f4 like this, bishop c6 and queen c5, queen c6. Oh no, but my rook hangs. Wait a second. Maybe I could include rook b4 check. Maybe that could happen. Should I go? Should I stay or should I go? I think it works, because if you give up a rook and go queen c1, I can take and go rook c8. If a long castle is defense. Engine plays, I quit. Chess. Please. Don't do it. Rook b1. Okay, now this one or what? 95. Bishop b4, rook b4, knight b4. Why not? Takes, and now bishop hangs. I would like to maybe go even queen a1. If he takes my queen, I can give a check on d4, and both bishops will hang in the end. Hey Vetros, hello. Yeah, I think it's this. There's no way this is not the way. The weight. G4. What if I do it anyway? Oh yeah, the method he is preaching right now. G4. I think it's that. And you want to promote G-pawn, not anything else, because it might be a race and it might be annoying race. So G4, because if you don't do anything, F4 will be tragic. Tragic mistake. Fixing these two pawns and disabling me to do anything. So this is the answer immediately to your question, Rostem. If you go h6, f4 blocks these pawns, and at g3, maybe some subtle subtle movement, but then king is too close, so g4. And now you don't take this one, I suppose. This, that, queens, and then he will harass forever. So g5, push, and I guess we force a queen trade somehow. So g5, a3, g6, a2, g7, queen, and now you have to go to b4. And in that case, queen f8 maybe, or some ladder stuff. But yeah, we gotta go g5. Nothing. Oh wait, but I can go. I could go here. I could go king c1. But let's not get stalemated here. Like king c1, king a2, g5, king a1, g6, a2. Oh, but he has plenty of pawn moves. What do you think? Shall I go king c1? If a3, king b1, and I block this pawn, king c4, then I just push it, there's no time. If hg, h6. Stalemate doesn't happen, I suppose. g5, king a1, g6. This one, g7, this, and he is just one tempo short. Whoa. Is this a joke? Why is this a puzzle? They dissing me, man. Oh, they're not dissing. They're just having bishop g4, but then I give a check, go rook g4. Wait, what am I missing here? So I want to take a rook, I want to give a checkmate on g7 or f6. I hate when this happens. When I'm blind to when something seems so easy. It looks very creepy when it looks very easy. So maybe the point is not to take on g4 immediately, but come on. Come on. How would you miss that stuff? Ah, people miss. Queen h3, queen e3, maybe the best. Or queen g2. But then anything wins. No, queen e3. Queen e3 is the best. Or I don't know what was the point. Let's see. I don't see anything, so you can't defend both. Come on. Ah, this was the point. All right then. Pawn end games once again. Once again. Yeah, they're dissing me completely. Like, it's very, very annoying. Takes a4, ba4, b5, a3, king c1 maybe is the point. I think we had a similar puzzle one day. The point is not to go to c2 because he's gonna push to d3 with check, and you know, that sort of thing. Do not get into check too soon. I think that's it. I think that covers it. A little bit easier, but a little bit tougher, but that one was dissing completely. Queen h6 and bishop g4. I mean, come on. Do better next time. Look at him. Well, we take this, right? Am I right or what? Take d3, king b2, king f2. Oh no, I queen with check. What's happening with me? So king a2, d3, b. Oh no, it's not like that. Not like that at all. No, I push immediately. What's wrong with me? d6 and b7. Yeah. b6, d3, b7. He can queen, but it doesn't matter. Yeah. Hell yeah. $121. Yeah, I got too dumb. King g6. King g6. No, king g6, bishop e4. That's pretty complicated. I would say king h8. Yeah, king h8 looks a lot safer. But it allows queen to... it allows rook f7, which I don't like. So maybe it's king g6 just to stop this. But you know, on bishop e4, queen e4, rook b6, king h5, and there's no check, no good check. Bishop e4, queen e4. Rook b6, king h5, and I'm threatening something here. What do you say about that? Because let's investigate a little bit of king h8, rook f7. Rook f7 is a little annoying now. Because queen e3, king h1, you can't really make progress. And I want to go rook h7, queen g7. If you exchange rooks, that decreases the chances for some attack. So king to here stops this, and bishop e8, rook from c takes, rook b6, king h5. I mean, you can take on h6, take, but still after some time you're gonna lose the checks. Oh no, g4 you take with queen, right? You don't, because if you go with the king up, h6 hangs in some variations. Yeah, queen takes, I think. Could be. Let's go with king g6. Oh boy. He took. I can take. I can take. I'm not afraid. Wait, but do I... Ah, if I input this, rook f2. Bravo. Bravo. Bishop e8. Well, now I have to capture, because if I don't, queen g7. So I got a man up. Oh, now it's different, because rook b6, I have to go back to e6 maybe. Because if king h5, queen f7. So let's be careful here. But yeah, I gotta take first. Oh, that was nice. So on this I can cover with a rook or bishop, but don't go up, because it might finish terribly, like this. I think simple rook e6 will do just nicely. There's no perpetual, nothing. So this streak goes on and on. Didn't expect it. Rook d4, first choice. First choice of me. Takes, takes. Takes, takes, and knight f5, but something feels off here. Rook d4, this, and maybe bishop h6. Nah. Aha, maybe there's rook d4 here and bishop c6. maybe. But then d3 is a bit annoying. What to do here? Rook d4 takes bishop c6. But I don't see a hint of any play against the king. Maybe takes and knight f5. King h8, bishop h6, but even then, rook f7 and what's happening? Unless I could go bishop c4, but it looks too optimistic. Yeah, bishop h6. Yeah, he would have to go either to f7 or g8. Takes, knight f5, king h8, bishop h6, rook, let's say rook g8. And then we might go back to d6. Queen e2 after this. Rook d4. Yeah, 3 pieces for 2 rooks. Doesn't seem too bad. But I think it's something like... Hmm. 95 shouldn't be the issue. But wait, 95... Ah, he's already on h8, he's there. Yeah, but I don't like on takes, bishop c6, I don't like d3. Because I'm gonna hang a2 because I have to keep an eye on the bishop. That looks a bit sus. So rook d4, cd4. Ah, this queen e2, knight e5, queen h5. But what do you do? King h8. I don't see it. I don't really see it. Hey, Mateus. Yeah, I practice calculation. I mean, this could be considered practice. And these days it's the only practice I do, calculation-wise. Sometimes I do tactics on chess.com, sometimes on chess tempo, but these days puzzles are the most often way to to practice calculation. GD, hello. I'm glad you're here. That's good if you're busy. That's good. That's a good sign. So what do we do? Do we just take and then think what's happening next? I think the most likely is to be the first line we mentioned. You mentioned, Stefan. Knight f5, bishop h6, and then some slow moves. So I'm just gonna go for it. Because bishop c6, d3, I don't really like. Queen e2 also doesn't seem like it's doing that much. King h8 can be played, and then what? So unless it's some bishop h6 crazy stuff. But then you take, and I don't see it as well. Queen d2, not really. So knight to, unless I have this one, but queen b8 might be the one. Knight f5. Fuck, that might be the one. And then you take, but then takes on a2. Not good. King h3, maybe I survive that, and yeah, that's only one check, so I should do it more diligently. Like queen c7. If you go here, knight f5, and when the king moves, queen d7. Rook d7, bishop b8. But then d3. Oh, this is hell. This is hell. Maybe I begin with knight f5, king h8, and then go. Oh, but now e4 hangs. Now queen to c7 here. Knight f5, king h8. Okay, but I can take on c7, and this looks winning. I have 3 pieces for. No, but bishop d7, he takes, and my piece hangs. Damn it. But I can take on d7 with the queen. Takes, and then take like this. You know what? This doesn't really look like solution. But this one might be. I'm gonna risk it. My instinct is telling me this one, but also what happens in this? Maybe bishop h6? Oh. Because I want to lure the king, the knight from f7. Next Hikaru, no thanks. Yeah, let's go for this. Ooh. That was it. So let's see some lines. What are the lines? Damn it. Knight f5 here, queen d7, yeah. and then take on b8. And now I thought d3 would be fast, but you take on d7, and if d2, bishop, sorry, knight goes to e3, and then you block it like this, and then you win like Gookish against VE. Only with bishop and knight, not with two knights. But here it's much easier than that game. Oh god, what is this? I think I had this one also, like something like check and go here. And the point is to block the b file, so my king can be put on b7. So let's say check, king e7, this, king d6, rook b2, and things are falling apart. What do you say? I think it's that. Oh god, what is this? Bishop b5? But what else? What next? What else and what next? Bishop b5, bishop a6, and then do something. So maybe yeah, bishop b5, I think it's straightforward, and then to a6. Because I gotta open up this king somehow. And then bishop a6. And then capture with the bishop, not with the queen, of course. You don't want to exchange queens. But c6, I don't think it works. b6 or just stay, and rook f4. So this one, rook f4, bishop b7. Knight f3. Oh, this is complicated. Andrew Lee, hello. Yeah, this is Lee Chess. Maybe I have to step on the h1, which is ridiculous. But I think I gotta go with this one. This still goes on. Bishop b7. Knight f3. I cannot step on f1 because of this check. So when I go here, knight d2. Sure. Maybe now I take on h4. Queen c5, king h1. But I'm not sure what happens on b6, and it doesn't seem like I'm having any attack. Other than heart attack, because I messed up. So... oh, maybe it's queen takes, and now takes, and then c6. Oh, that looks strong. That looks very strong, doesn't it? Because I feel like there's always some problem with knight f3, knight d2 stuff. And I don't have enough resource to continue the attack. But if I go with the queen trade, there's no such issue anymore. Takes, takes. King a8, c6, knight f3, king h1 maybe now. Cine, I don't play today. And I might go very soon if I make a mistake. So there's that. Okay, let's just go queen b7. And now rook takes. Bishop b7, I don't believe it's that, because I don't have... oh, now it's a little messed up. And magically I did the puzzle. What's this? They dissing me again. No. I'm just gonna wait for the moment for stream to appear. Yeah. Now I think I'm gonna go, guys. It was nice, a nice trick. It's still not finished. I'm gonna do it maybe after I finish watching Olympiad today. And I'll see you in about 2 hours when I'm gonna watch the games from Olympiad. So have a good day. If I don't see you, take care.